So let us see how do we make our Cisco router act as a DHCP server. As of now, I am not going to assign any IP addresses over here. I will use a DHCP dynamic host configuration protocol so that my PC will automatically get an IP address from the DHCP server. As of now, it is using 169.254. This is automatic private IP address assignment. APIPA 169.254. So what we will do here is the basic requirement is you should have this physical interface on. Let us write the configuration of your DHCP. If I say I want to make this router act as a DHCP, host name router 1. First of all, you must have a basic IP address on the device 192.168.1.1. This is the utmost basic requirement that you should turn on the physical interface, and the interface must have an IP address. Now, for this to act as a DHCP server, always take it in a logical sense. See what are the requirements on your PC. Your PC requires an IP address from a network, a subnet mask, a default gateway, and a DNS server. 4 parameters are required: IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. So you have to define these 4 parameters over here. So what we can do is we'll copy this one and we'll take the help of the router. Let's say CLI. This is a blank router. Sorry, I did not say enable in that. Configure terminal. Yeah, rest all should be fine. I forgot a T because I use data center devices, so I forgot a T also. Config T was supposed to be in Nexus operating system. This T is not required. You just say configure and it just works fine. Exit. Now you have to create a DHCP pool and you have to say IP DHCP pool, any name of the pool, ABC for example. And this is in the, now we are in the pool configuration mode, IP DHCP pool. If you hit a question mark, it is very straightforward. It will simply tell you what is the default router, what is the DNS server, what is the network. 3 options that we wanted. So here you will say default router is your default gateway. 192.168.1.1. This is the default gateway. What is the network? 192.168.1.0, 255.255.255.0. This is a class C's network, and it is important for us to give a DNS server because in an enterprise network we will have a DNS also, domain naming server, for a name to IP resolution. So as far as I suppose, you have to exclude one address now. See, there will be some addresses that you will not give via the DHCP. For example, the address that we are using on this interface, you will not distribute this address. There will be a printer, there will be an IP camera, there will be some devices that require a static address. So we will not give those addresses. So what I'll say is, in the global configuration mode, I will say IP DHCP excluded address. Means 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1.10. I will not allow these addresses to go out, right? So anytime the DHCP assigns an address, these addresses will be excluded. Let us see, is he giving any addresses? So show IP DHCP binding is the command to check the IP address assigned to the end device, the MAC address of it, the lease expiration timer. The lease expiration timer is 8 days by default in a wired network. In a wireless network, it should be around 8 hours, but you can change these. Microsoft Windows DHCP will give you 8 days lease. Means between certain point of time, you have to renew the lease. Simple configuration is done. Let us test over here. Let us say IP and let us select DHCP. See, I get an address from the range. DHCP request successful. If you recall the process that DHCP used to take, it's called DORA process. It's the discover, offer, request, and acknowledge. The PC sends out a DHCP discover. Then this route, the DHCP server gives the offer. We send the request and he sends the acknowledgement. Port number 67 and 68 will be utilized. Now let us see this same configuration, but we will open the packets of your DHCP server and your client. So let us go ahead and give, now what will happen is I will simply use this PC as my client. What I can do is I can simply change the symbol and this PC will look like a host and device over here. Let us assume that this is a simple virtual machine. Let us assume that this is a PC over here. The basic configuration of your router will be to go on the physical interface, assign the IP address and give it a pool and an IP address. Simple configuration like previous. So what I'll do is I'll simply copy this configuration and I'll load the configuration on this router. So this is my router 2. Router 2 is the DHCP server. So I'll just say configure terminal and on this physical interface, give this IP address. Let's paste these addresses. Show IP DHCP bindings. As of now, no binding has been done. What I will do is I will go on the router 1. I am router on the router 1. This is my host, for example. Interface F0/0. You have to say IP address DHCP. So what I'll do is I'll simply capture the packets over here. Start capture and it will start Wireshark in the backend and then we will see what happens in the backend. So in Wireshark, normal commands are going on. The moment I go on this router 1 and I say IP address DHCP, no, shut it down. If I turn on this interface, immediately you will see basic ARP and all should happen. This is Cisco Discovery Protocol and DHCP should work in here. See, they are configuring, they are talking discover, offer, request and acknowledge. This is the 4-step process that happens. See, this CD, this DHCP discover, DHCP offer, request and acknowledge. Let us see on this router, host on the computer, did he get an IP address? He says yes. DHCP address assigned. This interface has been provided by the DHCP and 1.2 is the one that I received. You can also say show IP interface brief will tell us that, oh yes, there is an address. The method of assignment is DHCP now. Usually we see static. For example, if I say configure terminal, interface loopback 1 IP address 1.1.1.255.000, show IP interface brief. When you assign a manual IP address, it shows you manual over here. When you assign a DHCP address, it shows DHCP over here. On this interface, the address has been assigned by the DHCP server. Let's go on the Wireshark and let's see who is, he is first sending the ARP and all. See, the source address that we have checked initially is your 0.0.0.0. That is what we saw, it is reserved. So if I am the PC, I want to go to the DHCP server, I take my source address as 0000 and send out a broadcast. So this is me, the client is 68 and the server is 67. And this is the bootstrap protocol that is going on. See, and let us see. See, layer 2, this is my source and layer 2 is a broadcast. There is a little difference in your DHCP behavior. So here, source is 0, destination is broadcast. Source is my MAC and destination is a broadcast MAC because I don't know who is the DHCP server as of now. So the DHCP server will reverse the port numbers. He will use the 67 on his side and 68 on my side. Now what he says is, so you can make out that 67 is your this one server and 68 is your client. See, if we go back again on this one, discover has the source port of 68 and destination port of 67, means your client should talk at 68 and server should talk at 67. And the offer me, he says, okay, this is your DHCP offer in here. See, the source is this and again the destination is broadcast. So even though the server knows the unicast MAC address, he is sending a broadcast. So the offer is also a broadcast. Source is this, destination is this. And in here, he will send you the offer. He will say your IP address will be, this is using user datagram protocol. And inside, you should be able to see the offer that he gave. Yeah, there is your client IP. So he says, okay, this is my offer. I give you 1.2. Third thing he will say is the request. I will send him a request. So my IM 68, DHCP 67, and he says, can I take this address? Can I take this address? And just notice one thing here, it is also a broadcast. So both are doing broadcast over here on layer 2 and layer 3 both. Discover offer request and acknowledgement packet. Acknowledgement packet is again a destination of broadcast to the server. Source IP, now I take as my source IP. And now see, this is which packet? Acknowledge, discover offer request. Yeah, acknowledgement again is this one.